All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. This is part two. Some of you, maybe even most of you, were here when I kind of did part one of Squanto, and this feeds off of what Bryce had done for men's breakfast and helping us understand true history of stuff. And one of the reasons that I find this important to share and what Bryce shared is, we have a lot of people in our culture trying to say, well, we shouldn't even celebrate Thanksgiving. It's just all of us that came over to this country were just out for themselves, and we just wanted to enslave everybody and this and that. And there were people who did that, and I don't want to take that away. But the origin of Thanksgiving was not that, and part of that is Squanto. And I shared with you last time that here is this group of people who landed in a particular place on the coast of America, and this Indian, this Native American, comes out of the woods and knows how to speak English and wants to help them. Why? Why were not the Pilgrims met with hostility, anger, and trying to push people away? Because look, all of us, if you suddenly have someone encroaching on your land, are you just going to sit back? Oh, come on, let's snuggle up a house right next to mine in my yard here. No, you're not going to do that. This is my land, right? You need to go find your own land. How is it that Squanto speaks perfect English? If you recall last time I mentioned how he got taken over to learn English from one captain because he wanted to use Squanto to be able to be an interpreter for future voyages. And he did that. And as he was over there, he got tricked to get back on a boat. And that particular captain went back and he had gathered a lot of Indians and was going to sell them as slaves. But some friars learned of what this particular captain was doing and went and bought those that weren't already sold and taught those particular Indians about Christ. And so now Squanto has been to Europe once, come back, been to Europe a second time. First time he learned English, the second time he got saved. And by the time he earned his trip back to America again, he showed up and he went to where his tribe was supposed to be. And there was a plague that swept through his old tribe and completely wiped every one of them out. He was the last Patuxet Indian. And so Squanto at the time, realizing that his people weren't there anymore, he went and lived with a different tribe. And the plague in that area where Squanto was from was so harsh that all of the neighboring tribes wanted nothing to do with the land. They felt like the land was cursed. They felt like there was evil there. And they didn't want to move into that area. So why did the Pilgrims land and not be met with hostility? Because none of the other tribes wanted to be there. Why did God keep the Mayflower from being able to go further south? Because he had set up where he wanted them to be. He had set aside a piece of land for them, and he needed them to go right there. So here, the Pilgrims land, and Squanto determined that he wanted to join himself to the Pilgrims and help them succeed in a place where his people had not. He helped establish a peace treaty with the neighboring tribes, in particular the Wampanoag Indians, which is the group or the tribe that Squanto had joined himself to. And it was with that tribe that the first Thanksgiving was held. Their chief, Massasoit, if I'm saying that correctly, enjoyed himself so much that first Thanksgiving, that he stayed 3 days with the Pilgrims. Why do we celebrate Thanksgiving? Why do we get Thursday off? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then the Lord's Day, Sunday. We have 3 days. Chief Massasoit and the Pilgrims set up a peace treaty between themselves that lasted for 50 years. This was what Thanksgiving was about. This was why the Pilgrims were thankful. They were thankful that they were able to come over into the New World. They were thankful that God sent them someone like Squanto, which, if you recall, William Bradford said Squanto was a special instrument sent of God for their good beyond their expectation. The Pilgrims viewed themselves as if they were nothing more than a stepping stone for their children, that would be successful. A stepping stone for the kingdom of Christ. Do we view ourselves in that way? Are you willing to be a stepping stone? Are you willing to be a servant? Are you willing to be a servant like Squanto, where you come along somebody just to help them in their walk with Christ? To help them succeed where maybe previous generations of that family didn't? Do you find time to spend with others, helping them, teaching them,